anything?
Do I have? No. I'm not privy to their conversations or to letters that they may have sent back and forth to each other while the other processes were going on.
But normally they would send you copies, right? Anything that you send off to the attorney, you would get a CC as to what's going on, I would assume.
I would assume, but I'm not. I would hope. I would hope, but again, I
In this
can't.
instance, you're saying there is none.
I don't have. Right. I'm not aware of anything. Exactly. I understand exactly what you're saying, and I'm not aware of what occurred between the two attorneys.
On this December 11th incident, what determined, or who determined that it was a hate crime?
You would have to ask either Captain Daigle from the IA or the other staff members that were here that dealt with that initial intake of that report.
Do you want him to come forward? Want him to come forward? Who's going to respond to that? Go ahead. Who was going to answer with regard to that? To Commissioner Corollian's question? Who was going to respond to that? Would you come forward? And I would ask who's ever going to answer to come forward and speak into the mic. Apparently, it's causing some difficulty for the clerk to record. And if you are, would you please identify yourself?
I can tell you that when it came to me, everything in writing refers to it as having been a hate crime.
So the website,
It's either Facebook or MySpace, I'm not
there was
positive.
a posting
Yes, sir.
before or after this altercation?
After the punch in the face, an additional.
Okay, so that occurred after the assault,
Yes, sir.
so it would have been after the fact. So at the time of the assault, it wasn't racial in any way? 'Cause
If
that
we,
was-
no, during the assault,
No.
if we had known that the assault had taken place, we could have intervened as far as the two kids were concerned, prior to it raising to the level of being a hate crime. Okay, I don't know what the precursors were to the assault. I'd have to look back at, when we look back at the report, but it's so redacted, I can't even make sense of it at this point.
At that time, there was no racial epithets used, there was nothing, no name calling that would lead anybody to think it was anything other than a fight between two people that happen to have two different skin colors, until there were some postings after the fight? Is that what my understanding is?
If I could just review this document.
Any record of that, or is this the only thing that gets put in the employee's record, and that there's nothing that shows that it was adjudicated, if you will, either kept the same, lowered, or dismissed, or whatever?
I can't tell you right now. I have to look.
What would be the common practice? Wouldn't that be the, in other words, let's say this one here went in front of the commission and they said, not guilty on everything, we're dropping everything.
In the best
Does this get removed?
best case, I'm sorry, if it was dropped, if suspension was dropped, in the best case, it should be noted on that, and then with just some note next to it, like see the commission minutes or something like that, and then somebody would be able to go back to those minutes where the commissioner heard whatever and made the change of decision.
But where it was dropped, where it was reduced, not dropped, reduced, would there have been a notation to that extent?
In the best of world, there should be. I can't tell you right now whether there is or not on that one.
Well, not this particular one, I understand that, but it's a general question, that if a personnel records entry form is entered on behalf of an employee for disciplinary purposes, and it gets changed, if the discipline gets changed, if it either gets dropped, changed, moved up, lowered, whatever direction it goes in, or sustained, minus the sustained, does that become part of the employee's personnel record that this was changed as opposed to see commission minutes, and left at that where now somebody has to go over another course to go and find out what did the commission say?
It would, in the best world, there would be a change to that form, and it probably would say, just see commission minutes, because if that employee had their hearing in non-public, we wouldn't attach the public minutes to that. So no, we wouldn't normally attach the minutes. We would just refer back to what that proceeding was, and if somebody backtracked, they would get the minutes of that proceeding.
All right, but when the employee makes an annual request for their employee file, personnel file, there's nothing in there that would show that it got changed, that it was lowered, that it was...
So again, in a perfect world, it would show on that form